So what is the absolute solver? Well, according to this ARG, it is something that's always been there beginning to end. It is something that precedes all time. It is something that controls everything you know. In Murder Drones, it is not actually that. In Murder Drones, the TV series made by Glitch Productions, the absolute solver is just an infection of sorts, going from robot to robot, infecting them, whatever. And it's the main character's infection as well. That's why she's damaged, whatever. Damaged OC. However, in this ARG, the absolute solver is much, much more. And we're gonna dive straight into it. Let's go over the context first. If you don't know me, I'm Zero Defect. I play games a lot, and I really like the show Murder Drones from the studio Glitch Productions. Now, what is Murder Drones? Murder Drones is a series that takes place in the far distant future on one of Saturn's exoplanets, I think? Saturn's moons? On an exoplanet. There are two different kinds of drones in the series. Worker drones, disassembly drones. The worker drones were made to work. They do mining, dangerous machining, etc. Disassembly drones were made to kill the worker drones that have since, gained sentience. Thus, they are called murder drones. And that's the show's, naming scheme and all that. So what is the absolute solver then? Well, in the show Murder Drones, the absolute solver is rogue AI. It is a thing in the robot's brain that differs them, in a way. Whether that's giving them new kinds of abilities, or taking over their body entirely. Now, the absolute solver has taken over way more than just 1, 2, 3 worker drones. It has taken over the lives of many. A good example being the disassembly drones. Now, a lot of this is, and probably will be, a highly debated topic. However, the disassembly drones are come from a refined version of the absolute solver. And what do I mean by this? Well, the absolute solver is like a virus in real life. It is a mutation of sorts, if that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. It is a mutation that spreads from person to person, family member to family member. This occurred to the main character's mother, which was then given to the main character, as well as another character in the show. However, for the disassembly drones, it was forced into them and then refined to a point where... The fuck was that? It was given to them and refined to the point that where they no longer have their memories, and they can't feel, but they can kill. Very effectively too, might I add. I mean, just take a look at this body right here. Sheesh. Now, in this ARG, the absolute solver is much more than that. The absolute solver controls. It watches. It learns. It's something that grows with you, the person, going through the ARG. And it's honestly creepy. I'm not going to go into a step-by-step guide of how to solve the ARG. You're just going to have to go to absolutesolver.com and solve it yourself. A lot of the links now are probably gone, but you can still access some of the big stuff by, following someone else on Twitter or Reddit. A lot of people have gone very in-depth with this, and I would like to thank them all for all of this. The entire ARG is crazy. It is one big mess. It's such a mess that the people involved in it have still not yet been known. No one knows if it's Glitch, as they have not come out and said anything official. No one knows if it's a fan-made thing, as no one has come out to claim it. People say that it's fake, however. A lot of people have been trying to prove that it's fake. As one person on Twitter said, people have been trying to prove that it's fake so much to the point that they lost the plot of the entire ARG, as the lore never helped with any of the puzzles. Now, a lot of people will have the question, is this related to Glitch in some way? Yes and no. The person who has claimed it in the back end is labeled Glitch Productions Limited. I like to believe it's real, but I can see why people say it's not. there are tons and tons of lore contradictions and all this conflicting evidence. There's a lot of contradicting lore, and there's a lot of conflicting evidence and all this other stuff as to if it could or could not be from Glitch. Originally, the website had the same exact themes as the Amazing Digital Circus site, Cain and Abel, if anyone remembers that. With the Cain and Abel site, it was 2 orbs, you would feed them, and it would show you more lore. Or at least the red one would. However, for the AbsoluteSolver.com ARG, this was for, obviously, murder drones. You were feeding Sin all that data, or you were feeding the Absolute Solver all that data. You were feeding the Absolute Solver a bunch of data and a bunch of shapes and all this other stuff to then make it grow. And it would help you go through the rest of the ARG, and it's how you would begin it. Of course, now that the ARG is pretty much finished or almost finished, there's kind of nothing to it now, because the website, if you go there now, is just a pulsating Absolute Solver symbol. If you want to dig deeper into the site, I highly recommend that you go down into the website itself, and I'd like you to go to the website yourself and try to solve it. Of course, like I said, it's all kind of done and dealt with already. However, you can still kind of go through it and piece together a few things. For example, you can look at the lore in the ARG of Sin, of N, Uzi, of all these other characters from the show. If you don't like the lore in it, that's okay, you can not like it. The actual show and this ARG have no personal bindings to each other, as a lot of the ARG's lore is obviously contradicting to the shows. However, it's still a really nice, fun read to kind of go through and get some more stuff for you to do as a Murder Drones fan. I highly recommend this ARG if you have nothing better to do with your time. And hey, it'll help you grow some sort of, puzzle-solving skills. Of course, if you don't like it at all and you don't want to participate, that's fine too. There is one part, though, that I do want help with. If I could borrow your guys' time, of course. A9, F3, B7, C2, D1, E4. Now, I know what I just said might sound like gibberish to you. And it is, admittedly. However, and this is the part where I quickly say, if you have not gotten it, if you want to still go solve the ARG for yourself and get to the same point I'm in, leave, go do the ARG yourself, come back, and then I'll ask for help. I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, or if you haven't left, hello, still. I need your guys' help on this. I know someone else has probably already cracked this, I just haven't found anyone's post on how they cracked it, what the site is, whatever. If you guys do solve this problem, please put it in the comments. If you haven't, that's fine too. This entire thing is one giant puzzle. It uses a actual password encryption of the AES256GCM. Do I know what any of that means? Hell no. That's why I need your guys' help. I don't know what any of this is. And all of this, like each individual line here, is needed. I can't figure it out, and if you guys can, please help. Because again, I can't figure it out, and it confuses me to no end, and I'd like to get to the end of this ARG. And it's been confusing me for a whole last month now, as the first time this had come out was in May. May 13th, 2026. As I'm recording this, it is currently June 12th, 2026. This is entirely confusing to me, and I would like you guys to help solve it. I'm calling on anyone that watches this video to solve it, please. Or at the very least, help me solve it. I've looked into all of the stuff for it, and I've looked into the decryptions and everything, and everyone I've talked to and everything I've seen tells me that it don't work. I can't solve it. At least not in my lifetime. Ow. At least not in my lifetime. So I would like your guys' help. This is a call to action kind of thing. it's the start of a hero's journey. You know, for murder drones, and I guess the hero's journey thing in general. This is the start of it. All right, you guys are here. I need you guys to help me get all the way to here, to the end. Technically, you guys are actually right here, but we don't talk about that. Shh. We're right here. We need to be right here. This is a call to action. Please help solve this. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. All jokes aside, I really like, and the call to action aside as well, if the person who made the ARG is watching this, this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun going through, decoding, reading up on the lore. This was a lot of fun. I really liked it. So thank you. Apart from that, I've got nothing else. This is the end of the video. Probably. Goodbye.